Easy, girl. We'll be coming in a minute. Hi there. We are the Northern Humboldt Sled Dog Team. And the reason we had to change our name to us is because Humboldt County actually has 2 sled dog teams. Can you believe it? Just little old Humboldt County. So we're the Northern Humboldt Sled Dog Team. And we have all Siberian Huskies on our team. The team down in Southern Humboldt, she's got dogs that she's rescued from the pound, and they're all different breeds. So any kind of a dog can be a sled dog. And you saw us running around out in the field there, or out in the parking lot. And these are our 3 team members. Portia over here is a retired member. Our team is very young. Karma's birthday was Monday, and she turned 3. On May 20th, Maya and Asia will be 2. So we have very young sled dogs right now. And that's why they're so wild and crazy and happy, is they're just puppies. Huskies don't really start to mature until they're about 5. Do you have a question, sir?
I can't hear all these things.
Her hips hurt too much. Portia's what, 10? 8. So she's getting up there. We're out running. We had different jobs for each dog. These 2 girls are so fast that we put them out in the lead dog position. They were out in the front. And I usually don't need to put a leash on them, but I knew they were going to be wild and crazy this morning. And usually they go ballistic, and you have to hang on for dear life for like the first mile. Liz, we usually put Liz on last because she's the smallest of our team. We put somebody heavy on first to make the dogs have to pull more weight because it slows them down a little bit. But they go crazy the first mile they go out and run. And then they calm down where we can usually take the leash off. Now Karma runs in the back. That's with only 3 dogs. That's called the wheel position. That's the one closest to the sled or the cart. And she does most of the heavy pulling, the starting and stopping. These guys keep the lines going and the direction going. But actually she does a lot of the direction too because she's closest to the cart. She'll turn the lines and these guys will bring the rest of the team around from the front. So what do you think it takes to make a good sled dog? What was that? Keep your mouth open. Keep them healthy. Yes, they have to be healthy. Doesn't have to be snow. We saw we weren't on snow today. Skill. That too.
They have to be strong. They have to be, like if it was 2 hours, you have to know if it's 2 hours.
They don't necessarily have to be strong. Actually, I had a beagle that I used to do this with. It was only a little 25-pound beagle, but when the snow was packed down and when you're on dirt, she could do it. So they just have to be agile. They have to be able to run and have the endurance, like you said, for 2 miles.
They have to be trained.
Yes, and the training takes a lot of work. It's kind of crazy out there. It didn't look like we were doing much, but I was actually calling directions to the girls when we were making our turns. G is if you go this way, Ha is if you go left. And they're getting pretty good when we're back on the cart and we kind of back off with the bicycles and call directions. They're getting pretty good about taking verbal directions from us.
Have you ever been in a race in the snow?
Unfortunately, we were prepared to race this year, but all of our races kept getting canceled because of lack of snow, and then the week after the races, it would dump snow. But we did go up to Chester, which is east of Redding, where one of the races was supposed to be, and we had a fun run. So we got to run with a whole bunch of other teams on the snow. And we found out we have Sunday drivers. They like to go. They're not particularly a fast team. They're not particularly high-powered. They just like to run for fun. So we got to work on that to put a little more drive in our team.
They have to be playful.
Well, a lot of sled dogs, serious racing sled dogs are very serious about what they're doing. They have to like to run. We were enlisted as the Purple Booty Crew when we went up to Chester because we made all our own booties. Yes, we put these on their feet to protect them from the ice and from the pavement. And so we made ours all out of fleece. Actually, they say Cordura, something lighter is better. But oops, all of our dogs, if you want to pass those around, all of our dogs have those on, and sometimes they come off in the snow. And so all the other mushers out there knew whose booties they were because we had the only purple ones. And we even have a great picture of another team coming back. And it looks like the lead dog has a blue tongue, but it picked up one of our purple booties. Liv's got a great shot of that. Yeah, so
She's here, Sunday student.
What is this kind of
okay, these are all Siberian Huskies, and they originally came from Russia. They were all born here in the United States. Carmen comes from Yuba City. These girls come from Oregon. Portia is from Crescent City. So they were imported in the early 1900s as a racing dog. Before that time, they just kind of used all the dogs that were there, and they imported these guys because they were much faster. But nowadays, they're breeding them with lots of hounds. So sled dogs don't look this nice and fluffy anymore. They look a lot more like pointers and greyhounds and things like that. They're breeding a lot more hound into them to make them faster. We live here in town. Actually, Liz and I and Steve, we all live over in Myrtletown, and Deborah lives over in Hutton. Oh, and then introduce my people. This is my friend Liz, and she owns Porsche, Maya and Asia, and so does Steve. He and Liz own them together. And this is Deborah and Porsche.
How does she ride that?
No pedals, huh? That's a scooter. We just got those, and those are really great. We had a cart last time, but when we only have 3 dogs, the cart's too heavy. So we got the scooters because even one dog, I take Karma out, and I can run just with Karma, even though she doesn't pull that much. She's not got a lot of drive to her. One dog can pull the scooter and pull you around on the scooter, so it's a lot easier.
There's 2 things. When I was out in the snow up on Horse Mountain, I saw one of these, but
Up on Horse Mountain? That might have been us. Did you see dogs and dog sled go by? That was us. Oh, this is a sprint racing sled, so it's not designed to really carry a passenger. So you would stand back here and you just kind of strap all your gear here. It's made for going fast in short races. Oh, quiet. We hook the dogs up to the front, just like we'd use the exact same lines we were using on the scooter, and they would hook up right here. So this sled I actually had, and we didn't grab the other brake that was in the back of the van. Here's the parking brake. You know what this is called? Well, it's used as a parking brake. This is a snow hook. So you'd actually stomp this down into the snow. I won't because we have pavement here. And this you attach to the lines, and this makes it so that the dogs can't pull the sled. Some people need 2 of these because their sleds, their dog teams are so fast and so excited and energetic that they need to set 2 snow hooks to keep their dogs from running away. Barbara. So this is our parking brake. And I had another new brake, but it's still in the back of the van. And when you're riding the sled, this is called a claw brake. And so if you want to slow down and the dogs are going too fast, you'd step on this. And the third brake I have is a drag mat, which ties to the stanchions there. And so you're riding along, you want to slow down a little bit, you can just put your heel down. Because this one you got to lift your foot up. And if you're on a bumpy trail, it's hard to do without tipping over. Because the only way you're steering is by standing. You steer the front of it with the dogs. But the little bitty steering and stuff is used your weight, you drag your foot, you kind of lean. They're made to be wiggly so that you can steer it with your weight.
Kind of cool to say that he saw you up on Horse Mountain. Were these the dogs who were racing?
Yeah, we weren't racing, we were just running for fun because that's the first time these 2 had ever been to the snow.
What if you put your knee on the second?
You could do that if you can get down. But usually you're hanging on for dear life. I was riding along and we were on a trail, straight trail, and the dogs were going really fast. It was just bounce, 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 hanging on for dear life, and I actually fell down. And rule number 1 when you're driving a sled is you do not let go. Never let go. Because if your dogs take off, 1, you're lost out there, 2, they can get hurt. And you don't want your dogs to get hurt. So rule number 1, never let go. So here I am dragging along, hanging on, and I'm like having to crawl back up. Because the dogs are still running. And I had to crawl back up. So it's nice to have lots of room and be flexible. Did you fall off at all when you did it?
Yeah, it came close.
So it takes a little bit of skill to learn to ride on one of these. It's not just standing there and letting the dogs go. You push off to help them with things.
Is there an emergency command for that? Like, that you can
You
call
hope.
to them? You hope, but they get so excited they're going.
Our girls are pretty easy. You fall off or you yell whoa, they're not going to take off on you. They'll come around and start licking on you like, what happened? What's going on?
Yeah.
But the high-powered teams, they're gone.
That's what I've
Ready to
heard.
break up? You guys want to come meet our dogs?
Okay, so hold on. Just sit down a second. We'll give some directions.
Oh, yes. Rules for approaching a dog. Do you guys know how to approach a dog?
I
Okay, you come up to a dog.
Very
and you-
slowly.
Exactly. You hold your hand out. We've got some kibbles or cookies you can give them. And you always want to hold your hand out flat so the dog can smell your hand. You don't want to grab it or pull its tail or ears or anything. Yeah, you want to come from underneath and let them sniff you first. And you want to kind of go slowly, not too noisily. These girls get really excited, so they may jump up or give kisses. That's why you want to be calm. These guys have been mobbed before, so they're not afraid of kids. They like kids, and they know kids need cookies.